Hello and welcome to this edition of High Vibe Nation. I've got this amazing guest that I'm super excited to share with you all today. He's going to be talking about real estate investments and how we can win in this industry. He will be coming on in just a minute, and I look forward to having each and every one of you here today. Join in.
The High Vibe Nation is live. Welcome to the High Vibe Nation. The goal is to raise the vibration of every human being on the planet. Your host on this journey is Sherry Gideon. So let's join her now in her current interview with a high-vibing individual.
And hello and welcome to High Vibe Nation, the #1 positive media show focused on raising the vibe of the planet, a space for you to remember the power within you. And today, as I said, I'm super excited on this edition of High Vibe Nation to have this special guest who's sharing the changing world of real estate, Peter Vekselman. And he is a real estate legend, speaker, and philanthropic family man. And he's a nationally recognized real estate investing authority and the creator of the heart-centered wealth building partner-driven coaching system with expert strategies into the areas of raising private monies, wholesaling, luxury real estate investment, and so much more. He provides the skills, knowledge, wisdom, experience, and hand-holding investors' desire from the beginner to the well-experienced. And with over 3,500 successful deals, his unique real estate model provides people with all over the U.S. the key pillars to closing real estate deals. Peter and his team coach their partners and provide leads to them, along with 100% of all the capital needed to close on these deals. Then they sell them and split the profits 50-50. Did you hear that? Split the profits 50-50. Well, I am so enthused to welcome Peter Vekselman to the stage. Hello, my dear. Glad to have you today.
Hey, Sherry. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And because I love being authentic with all of my audience members, I just want to say that Peter and I encountered this little faux pas today with the, internet. Of course, we all know that. And so it's been a fun little experience of patience, which is what this time is going on in our world today. And so we got through that patience part of today. And so I look forward to continuing with this conversation. So Peter, I'd love to help and start out with all of my guests by asking one particular question, and that is, what does it mean to be high vibe to you?
Well, look, I tell you, it's a great question. For me, I think people operate at different levels. You could operate at a depressed level, you could operate at a low energy level, and you can operate, I guess, at the high vibe level, high energy level. And I could tell you, in my opinion, the energy level you're at will determine the output of the work you put in, will determine the level of the work you put in, will determine how happy or unhappy you are during the work that you put in. So, I always teach people, put yourself in environments that'll put you into high level. Because high level ultimately is, in my opinion, it's the gas that keeps us going throughout the day.
Yeah, so true. And I know for myself, as I've grown and developed awareness in myself, just as how I want to be out into the world and just at this age in my life, being my real self, I love that over-the-top play and playing full out in everything I do, including business. And I want people to, kind of tap back into that inner child that is within all of us. So I appreciate your answer. That's really awesome. And I'm looking forward to this conversation today. But start us out with a little bit about your background and where you're from, and bring us up to speed about your life.
Well, let's go ahead and take the next. No, I'll do it quick because I'll be honest with you. For me personally, that is like always the most boring part of the interview. So when I'm listening to others, I'm like, I'm listening to you because you are killing it now. I don't know how you were at 12, but really quickly, I was actually born in a foreign country, a third world country back then, the Soviet Union. Immigrated here at a very early age. Grew up with incredible set of parents. I don't have one bad thing to say about my mom, about my dad. Wasn't abused, wasn't neglected. The biggest fans from the time that I remember to this day today. My parents have been amazing. They're both scientists, PhDs, world-renowned people in their industry. I was nothing like them. I barely graduated out of college. Matter of fact, I graduated so badly that I couldn't even get a job interview out of school. So forget getting a job. I couldn't even get a job interview. That was ultimately the best thing that ever happened to me, because where a lot of my friends went down the corporate pathway or aren't the happiest right now, I went down the entrepreneur pathway. I started my own insurance agency, owned my own vending companies. I was in the franchising. I was in the merchant services business. I pivoted towards the mobile home industry totally by accident. Became very successful at it. We were the biggest brokers here in Georgia. Then literally overnight, that whole business, the financing fell out of it. So I swerved into real estate. And at that point, I lost everything. Like everything I'd accumulated up to that point, I lost in 6 months. I mean, I was like, if I'm going to lose this thing, I'm going to lose it big and I'm going to lose it quick. Then I borrowed some money and lost all of that. And make a long story short, over 2 decades ago now, my entry into the real estate business was not an exciting one, not one to be very proud of. Basically, for the first 3 years, I worked for absolutely nothing, but always knew the industry worked, just knew I wasn't doing it the right way. But I survived, I persevered somehow during that time frame, even made myself homeless. That's how backwards I went. But 2 decades later, and 3,400 deals later, I'm still standing, doing deals across the United States, partnering with people, and just really doing some really, really cool things in the real estate investing business.
Well, you have a cheerleader in one of my really good friends, Andrea. And boy, she started to share a little bit about what you're going to share with us on the show today. And I just, I love what you just shared with us in that little brief synopsis about your life and what you've been through and how you've been able to pivot. I mean, I myself have been homeless on the streets twice. And those experiences are what shaped me and made the woman I am today. And I feel very proud that I have been able to build that muscle in myself to, persevere and reach up and, keep implementing new ideas. So, share with us a little bit about, you mentioned the real estate industry. And I know from a lot of friends in that industry how they say you got to develop techniques, to make money. What have you learned from those beginning stages, obviously, that have been able to take you to this level that you're at now?
Well, look, the reality is when you're totally losing in life, you're not learning too many great things because you're doing everything wrong. It's why I ended up homeless. That's why I ended up money. But what you are learning that time is you're learning to be tough. You're learning to persevere. You're learning life skills. So that's what kind of losing it all in the first 3 years really meant to me. Mm-hmm. I like what you said about what your friends do, because I do believe in that. In order to win in life, there's really 2 ways to win in business, I think. One is to do what everybody else does, but that's a tough way to win because you literally got to be the best. And there's only room at the top for, a few select people. And some of us just don't have the skill set to be at the top. But the other way to win in life, and I think to win even bigger, is to create your own playing field. So in the real estate industry, you're right. It could be a technique, it could be a strategy, it could be of doing that. And so for the last couple of decades, I've ran with some very unique things of how we've done deals, how we've done transactions, where pretty much it was an open playing field. And when you're in an open playing field, you're winning because there really is no competition. Even the model we run now, which we started probably about 4 or 5 years ago, where we partner with people across the United States, there's really no one that does this at the national level the way we do it. And because there is no one that does it at the national level, the people that want to get in the business and see that this is a viable way, we're really the only choice to have. And so we've been able to get this thing going at a very high level and just have a lot of fun with it. But the ability to be unique, the ability to do something no one else does, I think, that is one of my key pillars to success. Don't compete, create your own lanes.
Gosh, that's one of the things that I feel is vital for each and every one of us. And post-COVID, I think that, that whole process of pivoting really brought each of us back into our own. And I think on a lot of levels, it was asking us to tap in here and get silent in here to allow some of that deeper wisdom that you're talking about, these ideas that, can come through us in order to be unique and different. Because you're right. I mean, on a lot of levels, people are trying to copy other people. But at the same time, I mean, some of the greatest steps I've taken in my own life is standing on the shoulders of giants, just like what you're saying. You surrounded yourself by certain people that have, you've been able to implement some of those solutions and techniques, or even pillars and principles, to get to where you are now. So, answer me for a second. What had to happen inside of you, though, to get you to get clear about what some of these ideas were?
Well, look, I'll be honest with you. A lot of times, as you know, things just kind of materialize. I wish I could say here and I pre-plan everything ahead of time. Life is not a mystery. Everything is just set in stone and I'm just executing at the highest levels. That's not a reality. A lot of them happen as a result of our own personal needs. Like, for instance, how I pivoted into the partner model was not because I necessarily wanted to partner with random people and help in real estate. I just wanted to do more deals. Mm-hmm. So years ago, we were trying to figure out, well, how do we do, we had 17 locations across the United States. We were doing fairly well, but we're like, United States is bigger than 17 locations. How do we penetrate beyond the 17 cities we're in? And we came up with this idea. Let's just partner with everyday people. Let's help them and do that. So I'll be honest with you, for me, a lot of times things happen out of necessity. Like, for instance, we have a very unique way that we do certain things with our people. The only reason we're doing it this way is because I knew we had to do some kind of a bump ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And because I realized we needed this bump, we figured out a way to create that bump. So for me, most of the kind of these unique things that I've come up with have not been just me sitting down and just, showing off my genius, which I don't have. Has always been pretty much as a need to either level up in a certain area, to separate myself from the competition in a certain area, potentially to make more money in a certain area, whatever it may be. I usually try to tackle things, with some kind of an objective ahead of time, and then lay out a plan and execute it in accordance with that.
Well, even Robert here is saying, he says, I can dig this. I needed to find something that supplied purpose, joy, energy, and friendships. And that only thing I didn't know how to build in was an income competent. But now I want to continue forward. A joy addiction isn't going anywhere. Well, and I think that a lot of people when I very first heard what we're going to be sharing here with the audience just a couple weeks ago, I was like, wait a minute here. Am I understanding a 50-50 split? So start our audience out with, and how did this company partner, what is it? I can't speak today. Partner driven. It
is. It's partner driven.
All right. .com. Where did that come from and how did it come about?
Well, it was, as I mentioned, it was out of necessity. Up to that point, I have invested in real estate for many, many years, had built out a very successful real estate investment company. Like I said, we even branched out ourselves into 17 locations to do real estate deals with. So from the outside looking in, we were doing just fine. But then I was trying to figure out, well, how do we do more deals? We've kind of not mastered, but we've penetrated these 17 markets pretty well. We have a good deal flow, but there's way more than 17 markets. So we came up with this idea initially. Let's take everyday people across the United States and let's help them execute deals in their own marketplaces. We'll provide the resources, including the money. We sell the properties, and then we just split the profits. And I'll be honest with you, Sherry, the concept sounds pretty cool and is extremely cool. But in the beginning, like a lot of things, it was a disaster.
I bet.
It's one thing to having our own 17 internal locations with our own people staffing them. It's very different taking very random people across the United States and entrusting them with my own money, rehab stuff and all this. And the first 12 months, I took a killing, like a beating. Not only did we not make money, I lost a lot of money. But years down the road where we are now, we are just hopping on all the cylinders. we at that point kind of took a step back. We put all the right systems in place, all the checks and balances in place, all the ways to, really understand what the local partner is all about. And now we're doing more deals with partners than we ever have. We have excited partners. We have partners that we've helped take them from like zero to hero. We have partners that have been able to leave their jobs behind that they didn't like, they didn't want to be a part of, but help them make enough money and do enough deals. We've taken partners that, I've literally, before I got on the phone with you, I was on a phone with a partner of mine. His name is Jamari Spruill. The guy used to give blood. I'm not kidding you. He used to give blood on a weekly basis. Okay. We used to give blood on a weekly basis just to make it. Okay.
Been there.
You understand. And Jamari and I have done over 10 deals now. Okay, we've done over 10 deals. We're about ready to, and when you do real estate deals, you're not making a couple $100. You're making tens and tens of thousands of dollars, and I challenged Jamari again today. I was like, let's go. We're going to go to the next level. We'll go to the next level. So we have incredible success stories with our partners, and, are more excited now to share the message of the partner-driven model than I ever have.
Yeah, in fact, my husband's even interested of learning more. He was in real estate development and, was buying a lot of properties in the Midwest, but obviously it was on a venture capital sort of situation. But I mean, when I started to describe, a little bit of what Andrea had told me, he was like, whoa, I want to hear more. And as you can tell, our audience wants to know more too. So start from the beginning. How does this start? What is this, and how can people get involved?
Well, partner-driven is exactly what I say it is. It's basically what we do is we provide what are really the pillars of. See, here's the biggest problem with the real estate investing business is that you only got one of two ways to do it. One on your own dime, okay? Or one basically through experimentation. And that's a very expensive way to do it. Although the barriers to entry in real estate are very small, as you know from your husband, the stakes are very big once you get in. So that's one way to do it. And that's to do it all yourself and try to figure it out. And unfortunately, more times than not, maybe even in your guys' situation, it doesn't end up good. The other way to do it in real estate is to get somebody to help you through education. The problem with that is the education is just one of the pillars of success. So the problem most people find through real estate education is they get the education, they get the head knowledge, then they try to execute and they realize, it's not just knowledge. I got to know how to market. I know how to script. I have to have money to do this stuff. I have to have backup plans. I have to have construction guy. I have to know how to vet a realtor. And so what makes us so unique and why we're doing as well as we are is the education piece is just one of the pillars that we provide for our partners. And by the way, even on the education side, we go over the top. We literally communicate with our partners on a daily basis. But then we get into the execution with them. We literally spend money right where they live, and we generate leads for them. So we literally find motivated sellers for them. We find opportunities for them. We provide technology in today's environment in real estate. If you don't have technology, you're not only kind of at the playing field, you're going to be left behind. Everything happens at a speed pace. So you have to have technology. We provide all the technology to our partners. Once we find the properties, I provide 100% of the capital. So our partners don't spend even $1 of their own money.
Wow.
The other thing I do, which nobody really thinks about, but this is just as big, I assume all the liability. Because even after doing this for over 2 decades and thousands of deals, and as I'm sure your husband could attest, things still go wrong. Still go wrong. And so when things go wrong, it's all on me. So
well, and in his way too is they can only work with the accredited investors, and that's what one of our audience members just asked. Do you have to be an accredited investor to work with you?
No, you're not investing any of your own money into these deals. I'm investing my money into these deals. So what you have to be is an accredited, high energy, go kick some ass kind of a person. That's the people we're looking for. I put all the money in, I assume all the liability, and then we just put them in the market, sell them, split the profits down the middle, 50-50. And that's the model. But in terms of what the question you're asking, we're looking for, really, nobody gets into real estate for real estate's sake. I mean, real estate is now in those sexy businesses. Like nobody loves calling a seller, a random person to see if they want to, everybody gets in real estate for the results of real estate. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I share many times, I never really like the day-to-day things. Now I haven't done the day-to-day things in real estate in years. I have a team that does all of it now, but I got into it for the results. And so the people we're looking for are the people that want to level up in life. They are, usually it's one or two things, usually both things. It's tied into money. They want to make more money and they want to have a bigger lifestyle. And they know with what they're doing, it's not going to happen. And though that is what makes a perfect partner for me. I mean, I could tell you partners, forget accredited investors. I just told you about Jamari that used to, give blood for a living till he can, pay some bills along the way. I have partners that basically knew nothing about real estate, much less how to do it. You have a partner, he and I were texting this morning, Seth Choate from California. He and I've we've done hundreds of deals together. And when he started with me, he was a 26-year-old kid. He used all the money he was getting married 3 months from when he started with me. He's like, Pete, look, here's all the money I got. I know I got to put some money up just to show you that I'm serious. His wife to be didn't know he did it. He spent all his wedding money on getting started with us. He said, Pete, I got 3 months. At that point, I'm not going to get married if I don't make this money back, and I'll forever, ever be mad at you. Not only did he make all the money back plus some 3 months down the road, but 4 years down the road, he and I have done well over 100 deals together. He and his wife travel at least once or twice a month for a living right now. He and I just met in South Beach, rented a yacht for a number of days, bummed around there. I mean, our partners really become family. We're having a bunch of them actually here to Atlanta. We had 15 of them at my lake house about an hour from here. A couple of weeks ago, we would just hang out. There's no agenda. They just came for the weekend and we hung out, had a great time. We have about 100 of them coming in this weekend to Atlanta to visit us. And that's going to be more hands-on. That's not going to be just having fun, although we'll have fun. That's going to be more, okay, let's level up. Let's get to the next levels. Let's get to know some more techniques and strategy. So partner-driven model, it's, we call it a family, not for the sake of it, but really becomes a family along the way. All our partners do.
Oh, I freaking love it. And that just leads me to my next question, because I'm listening and I'm like, okay, what next? So is there an upfront cost for this course to get started?
There is an upfront, very minuscule for what I put up to what the partner puts up. But having said that, it's never cost prohibitive. But we now have a third-party company that looked at us and believed in what we do so much. They're actually fronting the startup cost to our partners. That's how cool it is. So if somebody wants to get do this, as long as they have basic minimum credit score, decent credit score, as long as they have a job and they could tell this funding company that, I've been on the job for at least a year. I have a decent credit. I think they have to make at least $40,000 in income. Then they'll actually give you the money to get started with us. So it's, or we could do internal finance and we could finance the initial fee internally too. So, if somebody wants to level up for what it costs to get started with us, it should never be a barrier to realizing their dreams and goals as a result of what they could do in this business.
Oh my God. I love hearing that. And, for people who really want to do something amazing in their lives and really create, like you said, those dreams, those goals, that higher way of living instead of just, going to work every day and getting a paycheck. And so I love hearing what you're saying. So another question that comes to my mind, just on a deeper level as you get into it is, so how do your students determine what properties are good for profitability?
Well, as I said, we go over the top in terms of coaching and mentoring our partners. We literally communicate with them on a daily basis. And that's what we do. We just teach them. We teach them the formulas. We teach them how to look at deals. We teach them how to evaluate deals. And here's the ultimate guarantee in this whole thing. I'm putting up the money.
Right.
My team is not going to let our partners make a mistake. And that's a great thing to know. You got somebody backing you financially, personally. The partners don't have to sign anything. Their credit doesn't get, touched or anything like that. It's all on me. And that's like the whole built-in guarantee that, because since I'm funding the deals personally, what we teach them is the right stuff. What we show them is the right stuff. And we literally take our partners by the hand and walk them through all of these deals.
Wow. So what kind of properties are they? Are they fix and flips? Are they
Yep. No, you got it. First of all, about 90% of them are single family homes. About 10% of them we're venturing more into the other spaces. And we're either do a fix and flip. We do a lot of wholesale deals where we don't have to do too much to the property, just get it in and as in condition and then just flip it out. So we stay in a lane of single family, get in, do something and get out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. What about family rentals or multifamily apartments?
We're getting into potentially some more commercial stuff, which the multifamily could fall into. But again, those will probably do from a long-term perspective. The single family stuff, it's get in and get out.
Mm-hmm. So there's no long-term appreciation or anything.
The only time we work at the long-term is we do some creative deals, like if the owner's willing to hold back a mortgage and stuff like that, we'll entertain those.
Mm-hmm. And then what about, because I'm thinking of when I, was buying real estate myself, what about structuring the deal? Do the students go on title at all, or that's just all you?
No, that's all us. That's all for obvious reasons. It's my money. It's the way I raise the money in the back end. That way there's no outside exposure. We have the insurances in place and all that. So it's a plug and play for our partners. It literally is a plug and play.
Well, and it sounds like you have a lot, through your experience in this industry, you've been able to develop systems that kind of coincide with each other and work at all 100%. Different levels.
Yeah, 100%. When I say it's plug and play, it is plug and play. It has to be plug and play because we have so many locations that we have partners in. Each partner brings its own set of skill sets, but also it's things that they need to be taught. So yeah, we account for pretty much all the things that need to be, we're always getting better. But we are knocking it out of the ballpark on a daily basis now. The way I do it is I get texts from my office. Like I said, I don't really participate at the deal end anymore. My value is growing the company and all this. We just got 2 texts, we just closed the deal. We held it for 1 hour with a partner. We bought it for 170, sold it for 180. And we just closed another deal where we had it for 40 days. But we bought it for 160, 175 and sold it for 240. So I made $65,000 in less than 2 months to be split with our partners.
Wow. And it sounds like the turnaround on this is fairly quick.
Yeah. Like I said, we're in a short-term play for a lot of reasons. Part of it is that, when you could show up a new partner at $10,000 profit or a $65,000 profit, there's a lot of things happen that wouldn't happen if you get a long-term rental that makes $300 a month. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Their confidence goes up much higher. Their conviction goes up much higher. Their attitude, just everything. So that's why we're more in the short-term game, not just from my perspective, but really, really for the partner's perspective.
I freaking love that because, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. People want freedom of movement. They don't want to be stuck in a 9-to-5 job, making $20,000, $30,000 a year versus being able to generate that. And it sounds like what you're saying, sometimes a week, 40 days, what have you. That's quick.
That's very quick. But, having said that, as you do never want to get in the business from a short-term perspective. Mm-hmm. If you're a short-term thinker, you do not want to be a business owner for a lot of reasons. And so we always tell people, look, real estate does not happen overnight. Every once in a while it does, but that's more or less more because of luck than because we're also great. So, but if you're going to get in the, this is what I always tell people. Don't put a timeline on success. No one puts a timeline on being broke. You'll find a 50-year-old guy broke his whole life, no timeline. At it, working his butt off, helping his boss become rich. All of a sudden, they have an opportunity and like, okay, let's give it a good shot of a couple months. I don't understand that. The only thing people should put a timeline is on being broke. Mm-hmm. That's it. Or not being satisfied or not being happy. But as far as success, that's a wide open lane. It's whatever it takes, however long it takes.
Mm-hmm. So as an entrepreneur, do you recommend people to commit to one plan at a time?
Yeah, I believe in vertical growth. There's what's thing called horizontal growth, as I call it, and that's doing 20 different things. And then you got 20, and we all know people, you got 20 things spinning. Anything working? No, nothing's working, but everything's going on. So I'm more a believer in vertical growth, where you figure out 1 or 2 things, and then you really one. and you scale. You just get better at it, get better at it. The other thing you'll find out through vertical growth is that you don't need to do something totally separate. Within the real estate industry, I could diversify. Within the real estate industry, I could do multiple things. I don't need to open up a car mechanic shop. Okay. And by the way, this is where a lot of people lose it, because they are trying to do multiple things. So yeah, I'm all about one thing at a time, vertical growth. That's where it's at.
So what's the difference between the two?
Vertical growth is you're going to do one thing and you're going to master it and you're going to scale it. Horizontal growth is you're going to do 10 things at once and try to grow them all at once. And so I'm all about one thing and scaling the one thing. Figure out what your one thing is. Might not be real estate. It might be something else. It might be basket weaving. I don't know. But get good at something and get extremely good at something and make sure it gets you the results you want. And scale it, scale it, scale it, scale it. Some of the biggest companies in the world to this day have diversified, but they're Google's involved in 5 billion things, but guess where their money comes from? The same thing it came from day one, search. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm all about find the one thing and grow the crap out of it.
Colleen over here is saying, love the thought process. And honestly, I love the thought process too. And I'm hearing it at a completely different level. I'm receptive to it at a completely different level at this stage in my life. I am an idea person. Like, I just channel ideas. I come from the pro bodybuilding industry. So I kind of started in that industry and have driven my whole life on a million ideas. And then there came these different stages in my life through experience based on what you're sharing right now. So I love hearing that, focus on one thing, scale it, and then you're able to do all these bigger, greater, grander things.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Yeah. So with this program, is it online or in person?
Well, it's neither. You can't do things like this online because it's real time, real information. So, like I said, we're constantly communicating with our people, and you can't do it in person because what do these people do? And they come to our Atlanta office every day because you're doing this every day. No, it's literally, we're using the same technology you and I are using right now. We're utilizing Zoom, we're utilizing phone, email, but it's constant, this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm. So awesome. So what do you think the number one mistake that investors make is?
It's probably the same mistake I made, try to do it yourself. It's in investing. I think any kind of investing is scary. Especially real estate, because you're playing with big numbers in real estate. You can get in the stocks and I guess try it out a little bit here, a little bit there, make some mistakes, no harm, no foul. As you know from your husband, you could sneeze the wrong way in real estate and lose 20 grand. So real estate is a huge, huge upside, about as big upside as I've seen in any industry, but it's got a bad, bad downside. So I think the biggest mistake most investors, including myself, make is they try to go at it, they try to figure out in the playing field. And that's as silly as saying I'm going to play professional basketball and let me just get me on the court and I'll figure it out. That experiment is not going to last very long. And that's why the reality is, this is one of those things nobody talks about in this industry. Most people never become successful in real estate. They just don't. It's a tough business to do it yourself. The only reason I'm still standing is because when I got started and I lost that $500,000, I had it to lose. If I didn't have it to lose, I'd be out, So you're going to either pay tremendously with your own money, with your own time, with, hitting your head against the wall and a lot of frustration and sleepless nights. Or you're going to, I always tell people it's all about alignment. In anything in life, it is all about alignment. You got to learn how to align yourself. Doing things yourself is the slow way of achieving success. Aligning yourself with people that have gone ahead of you and who are more successful than you. That's how people say there's no shortcuts to success. Again, another total myth. There's huge shortcuts to success. And the act of alignment is one of the key pillars of becoming successful.
Well, that's my entire philosophy of living in every day is alignment. And even Tony Robbins, what did he say? He said, find people that have done what you want to do and follow their pillars, their processes, their steps, because you're going to get there that much quicker than trying to do it on your own.
100%. That's how I live my life, and that's how I teach it to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So what advice would you give to people just starting out, maybe with you right now, or, maybe in life period in a business?
Yeah, the same advice. Align yourself with somebody who's done it. Make it worth their while to align themselves with you. That's why that's why I always tell people, and I know it sounds a little bit put offish to some people. Why I tell people, if you want to be in real estate, I'm the ultimate guy for you, because I do need boots in the ground. I do need people to go out there, look at stuff and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to do 90% of all the heavy lifting. I'm the old, so if it's real estate, I'd love it to be us. If it's not real estate, find someone like me who's got some kind of stake in you also, not just them helping you. You got to somehow be able to help them. Mm-hmm. But that's the ultimate thing in life. It's aligning.
Absolutely. And what do you think that real estate or even real estate agents are going to face in the coming years in this industry? Nobody knows.
But I will tell you, as we speak here today, right now, it's incredibly good. I've never seen these market conditions for a lot of reasons. But right now, COVID, cost created some incredible opportunities for us to go out there and help a lot of people who are in trouble. It's incredible right now. I don't know how long it'll be, but it's like riding a wave. You don't know how long that thing's going to last, but when that thing's up, you better be riding it. And so right now, for the next really unforeseeable future, it's incredible. I just don't know how long it'll be.
Reminds me of when the market crashed in 2007. My husband went into loan modifications. Yeah. And at the time, we were making, 50, 60, 70,000 a month on loan modifications of all things. You know what I mean? But yeah, so anything else you want to share with the audience about how they can get started working with you? And
Sure. Well, probably in terms of me, if somebody just wants to learn about me, follow me, understand me, see how I do things, social media is the best. Like, for instance, Instagram. Just go to, I'm sure you probably have some links somewhere. Just go to Instagram.com/Peter Vekselman. Just my name. And that's a good way to kind of get a feel, get comfortable with who I am and what I do. If they're ready to get started, ready to start doing some deals, ready to rock and roll, then just go to our website, partnerdriven.com, partnerdriven.com. And there they could, they'll walk through the process. A team member will be able to touch base with them. If they're ready to rock and roll, literally in the next couple of days, we could be in a point where we're starting to put deals together.
Oh, I look forward to hearing more about that. I know my husband wants to get together and talk to you too. So, there's some really cool things going on with what you've been sharing. And I could go on with a million different questions just because it's so different.
It's very unique. And it really is no one doing this at the national level. As your husband knows, people partner at the local level all the time. But at the national level, to partner with somebody that's done thousands of what you want to accomplish, there's no one that does this.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for being live with us here on High Vibe Nation today. And for those of you who are in our podcast, once again, you can connect with Peter through his website, and that's partnerdriven.com. He's available on Instagram at Peter Vekselman. And also, you can go, as you've seen posted here on the bottom of the screen, you can go find out about his proprietary system at, once again, partnerdriven.com. I want to thank all of you today for being here on High Vibe Nation with us. You can find me on the web at www.thehighvibenation.com, on Instagram at The High Vibe Nation, on Facebook at The High Vibe Nation. And as always, I am live on Wednesdays at now 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please like and share this with all of your social media networks, and have an amazing rest of the week. Bye now.
From everybody here at the High Vibe Nation, we want to say thank you for choosing to raise your vibration. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe. If you need to find us on the web, check us out at www.thehighvibenation.com. highvibenation.com. Looking forward to seeing you on